All right. New sermon series time. New sermon series time. And technically new. We started it on Good Friday. Not Good Friday. It's just, listen, you got to understand how my brain works. Like, I just have terms, and it's like, ooh, we're in Lent. Lent terms, Good Friday, Ash Wednesday, all that stuff. Ash Wednesday, we started this then. And this is our Sunday sermon series, and it's called The Week. And I love this idea of the sermon series because we're interweaving the themes of creation, the days of creation, with the days of Holy Week, right? So the first day of Holy Week is Palm Sunday. That's why we're doing this stuff now, like today. So we're going through Palm Sunday here, and the first day of creation is Let There Be Light. And you guys got to understand why this is so special to me. I love the creation story. Like it's one of my favorites, and it's always been. And one of the reasons why I love it is because I haven't always had it. I haven't always had it. And what I mean by that is I grew up under a strict, and I believed like this strict, like it's like, oh, you got to read it literally, like the 6 days and all that stuff, right? Like that's all these things, and that's all what it was about. The problem is when I understood things as those literal 6 days, I didn't actually know what was created in each day. I didn't actually know. I was stuck on 6 24-hour days. And the thing I realized is that when you literally read it, you're literally not reading it. Here's what I mean. I started reading what was on the page. And I realized that there's this theme of God creating things out of nothing, bringing order out of tohu vavohu, out of formlessness and void. Like that he's bringing all these things. And then when I started reading that I read the actual themes that are on the page there, I began to see how this creation idea is all through the Scriptures. And suddenly the Scriptures began to open up to me, right? Like think about the Israelites being enslaved to Egypt and then going in the wilderness. That sounds like tohu vavohu. And that whole story ends with them building the temple and the tabernacle is what they called it back then. Like that, and so it's this whole like recreation thing again. Jesus himself, went into the wilderness and was tempted, but also Jesus died on the cross. It's said in multiple of the Gospels that when he died on the cross, it's like darkness covered the earth. It's like creation itself was being rolled backwards into tohu vavohu again, only for 3 days later for the light, let there be light, to be shining anew in the midst of that cold, dark tomb, right? And like as soon as you see this, as soon as you grasp a hold of it, it is everywhere. And I want to show that to you because it's so exciting that it's so consistent all the way through this. So let there be light in Palm Sunday. Jesus comes into Jerusalem. The beginning of Holy Week, he comes into Jerusalem and he is the light. And all these people around him are throwing cloaks on the ground and they're crying out, Hosanna to the Son of David. And they're waving around their palm fronds in the air like they just don't care. And they're going crazy, right? And he is the Messiah. He's the Savior. In a sense, they are crying out that Jesus is the light. But here's the question. Are they actually holding the light? Are they actually holding it? So, all of this is like this painting. And I hear what you're saying. You're like, boy, that painting's dark. I'm having a hard time hearing. You're like that. You really should have brightened it up. I did, right? It's a really dark painting. I brightened it up. Using Canva. It's like bright, like that. And so you're using Canva here and all these things. And it's this is a Rembrandt painting, maybe. All right, maybe. It's Rembrandt did a few of these. This one actually could have been one of his understudies did it, but this is like the best example of this painting. Like, and it's a certain style. Now, let me tell you about this style real fast. I'm staring at the word in the back. That's where all my notes are. I don't actually memorize these things. Like, I'm staring at the word. I don't know what it is. Mick came up to me after the first service, and you guys know Mick. He came up to me, and he just ripped off what it is. It's this fancy Italian word about this art style. I still can't say it. Like, I tried to say it right after him. Like, again, I'm dumb as rocks, all right? Like, this is all just charisma, energy, and luck. Like that gets us all here every day, right? And so, but this style, what it's known for, and this is all over Rembrandt's stuff, he's known for this style, is this like stark difference between the light and the darkness. All right? You see that there? And the name of this painting is The Adoration of the Shepherds. If you want to find out more about it, it's on the Sunday page where the live stream is on our website. It's on there, and you can look into it and look at it if you want to. And then I hear the second thing that you're complaining about. It's like, this is Palm Sunday. It's not Christmas. Why are we doing Adoration of the Shepherds and all of that? It's because this is a great example of this light. Where is the light coming from in this painting? It's the baby, right? It's the Christ child. That's where the light is coming from. Then here's the other thing. Why? There's no light coming from that lantern, at least not much, right? Why is the lantern there? It's not like a photograph. They didn't have photograph. Like Rembrandt is like creating the picture. Why did he put a lantern there? It's not creating any light. Why is it there? Why? You know? Like it's not where the light is coming from, right? And you're like, what lantern? That lantern. I forgot that it's like on CSI, it's like enhance, you know? Like that's, like where's it come from? The light it's almost like the light is from the Christ child is also just lighting up that lantern, right? I think Rembrandt is making a theological statement here, which is cool. Why does he have that lantern there? I think he's saying something about ourselves and how we often are like trying to hold that we think that the light is coming from us, right? That we have these lanterns and we think the light is coming from us. So Jesus on Palm Sunday, he is the light coming into the world. But we see that Jerusalem, who thinks a lot of themselves. Again, our Bible study on Amos, right, Ed? Like that's Jerusalem thinks a lot of them. They're like we are the shining city on the hill, you know? We are where it is, right? Like they thought that they were God's gift to the creation, that they thought they were the light. But and you look at their leaders, these guys named Pharisees, and these Pharisees, they often like to stand in front of people and tell them how to think about things about 2 steps higher than them and wear fancy robes. Oh, okay. And they like and they hear about what Jesus, what's going on, that all these people are saying, Hosanna, Hosanna to the Son of David. And they're like, I don't like that. You know, and they're like, teacher, rebuke your disciples, is what they say. They're like the Pharisees, the crowd, like, Jesus, tell them to be quiet. Like the Pharisees think that they are the ones that are holding the lanterns, that they are bringing the light, and it is their burden of the law and of this office that they need to tell the people where the light is and where it's not. Get rid of him. He is awful. He's nothing but darkness. Lift up this stuff, you know? Like, and they tell them to stop. We are the Pharisees. That's not how they sounded. We're the Pharisees, you know? Like that. That's judgy. That's judgy. We are the Pharisees. All right, we'll give them the deep voice. Like clearly, Jesus, we know that you are not the way of light. We know better, you know? Tell them to be quiet. Like that's, and Jesus is like, dude, the rocks will even cry out if you squelch this down. That's an important part. Gosh, that sounds so Luther because it's Jesus. But even those crying out Hosanna, like even they, like we know the Pharisees are misguided, but even those crying out Hosanna, I think are misguided as to what the light is. You know, they come out and they're shouting, God save us, save us, save us, which is Hosanna. Like, God save us. And they think that they are holding the lamp and light. They're like, look, the Messiah is finally here. Here he is. But what are they hoping that light, that Messiah is going to do? You see, 100 years before this, the Greeks had control of Jerusalem. You remember Alexander the Great from history class? Like that's some of your history is a little farther away than others, but that's all right. But Alexander the Great was holding Jerusalem, and they're like, oh, this Alexander the Great's terrible and awful. They're worshiping Zeus in the temple, and Judas Maccabeus, this guy who has a sweet nickname, which is the Hammer, like that. They call him the Hammer. And he's raised up within them, and he leads a revolution, a rebellion, right? He leads this against Alexander the Great and the Greeks, and he wins, right? And after he wins and kicks them out, Judas Maccabeus on the back of this big white war horse comes into Jerusalem to everyone shouting, Hosanna, 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 and waving palm fronds in the air. It's the same. It's the same. Like all these people, like they think they're holding the light and they see Jesus, they're like, we have a new Judas Maccabeus on our hands here. He's going to come and kick all the baddies out. He's finally going to get rid of Rome. And when he gets rid of Rome, Jerusalem can rise again, back into prominence, back into importance, back, no more Caesar. He's our guy, right? And in their pride and anger and even sin, they're misguided into thinking that they are the light. They think that they are the lantern, but it's actually, it's their agenda, right? It's how they view the Messiah is supposed to be, this warlord Messiah. They think that lantern there, they think that is the light, rather than Christ himself being the light. And what does it look like when Jesus is the light? First off, he's riding a donkey into Jerusalem. It's a known fact. It's impossible to look cool while riding a donkey. You know, like that's that whole thing. Like that's just playing the hits. Sorry guys if you're new. Like that's impossible to look cool while doing that. But also, he doesn't come to conquer, but he comes to suffer and to die. That is bringing the light. And you can see that there's this disconnect because in just 5 days to Friday from today, people will be, rather than shouting, Hosanna, 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 they're shouting, kill him, kill him, kill him. Crucify, crucify, crucify. Like just 5 days. I mean, imagine that. Imagine hearing this sermon. It's like, boy, that Pastor Chris can really preach a sermon. That one was actually pretty good. A lot of them are bad. And like, it's great. And then by Friday, you're like, let's get rid of them. You know, like it's like, there were no meetings. What's going on? You know, this is not how churches run. Got to have my agenda to how it's done, you know? Like, so many times we think we're following the light that we think that we're bringing the light. You know, but in actuality, we can be a lot like those Pharisees. Like, it's my way or the highway. You know, you just got to believe like me, do like me, just be like me. You know, and if you're like that, if you just do what I do, then the world would be full of light. And if you don't do what I do, get out of here. You're bringing darkness. Get rid of them, right? Make sure they banished away from here. Or maybe we're like those in the crowd, you know, that we have this own agenda that's like, let's rise up this Jesus like Judas Maccabeus. He will save us. God save us. Hosanna. He'll kick those Greek gods out of the temple. If we just win this election, on our side, of course, whatever side that is, this place has like a 35-65% split. Yeah. If we just win this election, then finally light will come again. Whatever. Like that's, but what does that do? When we say those things, it actually brings division. It brings darkness. That's all it does. It's just us getting our way. And we do this all the time. We have these agendas that we say, if I can just do these things, then finally I will have life. I will have light, and things will go the way I want them to go. So like when we're young, it's like, oh man, if I could just meet the one and have a couple kids. Some of you want like 3, 4, 5, or 8. And you're like, if I could just have that, then everything will be great. And then you're sitting around. It's never quiet in your home. And you're like, where's the light? You're yearning for the darkness because they can't find you then. I don't know these things. I just listen. I don't have kids. My job as Uncle Chris is to come in to my nephews or anyone else that claims me, and I shake them as hard as I can and then hand them back. I don't know how that happened. I don't shake the baby, don't worry. Some of you got worried. And it just doesn't work out. It's like, well, I thought this, or it's like the world of big promotion. Like where I was before here, I was in Arkansas. And it was very corporate area. And you're like, corporate in Arkansas? It's Walmart's headquarters, right? Like very corporate. And everyone was just on this treadmill of like, oh, next promotion, next thing up, no, over there, without thinking about how it would impact their life or anything at all. And they'd come to me and be like, I don't know what to do. Like I thought I would finally be happy in all of this. And it's not there. And then I moved here back in 2016, and it was all retirees as far as the eye could see. My best joke was about breaking hips and stuff like that, And what I got to see is that a life of all that, just nothing but promotions all the way up, all of a sudden led to all these retirees in the room, and you had people that were like, I told myself that I would finally have the light, have salvation, and when I could finally rest in retirement. And then they get there, and they don't know what to do with themselves because they've never rested a day in their lives. It was always seeking after, going to, trying to be those bright lanterns, right? But the thing is, we think that all that stuff will save us, but it doesn't. It actually just causes division, mistrust, hurts and pains, and all of that, and it just brings darkness. It's like that lantern. And it's interesting, as Jesus, the light, comes into Jerusalem as king, he comes in on a donkey, not on some big war stallion. And one of the first things he does, did you catch what he did? As he approached Jerusalem, he saw the city and he wept over it. He cried over it. And he says, if you, yes, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it's just hidden from your eyes. The Prince of Peace is standing before you. This Prince of Peace is here, but you don't see it. The only thing you have eyes for is like banging heads together and war and power. There's no hope in the search of greatness, and he's calling out the darkness. And yet Jesus, on that humble donkey, rides into Jerusalem, which even though they think is light, is actually dark. Jesus rides into Jerusalem, a dark place. He rides into the very city that is going to kill him. And he weeps for them. He weeps for you. not out of anger, but out of a broken heart. He is the light that comes not to blind us, not to hurt us, but he's the light that leads the path. The things that make for peace that Jesus spoke of, that's his body that is broken for you. Foreshadowing. His blood shed for you. The crowd wanted a war horse. Jesus brought a donkey. That's not how you win arguments. They wanted a conqueror of Rome. He came. He conquered sin, death, and the grave. They wanted war. But Jesus weeps because he comes and he brings peace through his sacrifice. He entered the darkness of Jerusalem so that he could enter the ultimate darkness of the tomb on Friday. And just as day one of creation ended with evening and morning, the darkness of Good Friday would give way to the light of that Easter morning, where the true light and the new creation breaks in. Just as God spoke light into tohu vavohu, formless and void, wild and waste, however you want to put it in English, of Genesis, the resurrection is God speaking new creation into the void of death. I want you to hear this. Jesus comes into that dark city of Jerusalem even though he knows it's going to kill them. Jesus in his light shines the light into all of you, into all of us. He shines it all in it, even though our perceptions and our desires and our agendas are all idolatry and darkness. He still comes into all of us and he dies and rises again for all of us. So let's go back to the painting. How much light? First off, why is there a lantern? Because Rembrandt knows where the light comes from. How much light is coming off of the Christ? It's so bright. It lights up the painting. It's even overshadowing that lantern. That light of Christ is for you. The empty tomb is for you. Hosanna! The light has come. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And that's good news. Let's end right there. God, we thank you that you are here with us and that you are constantly bringing light into our darkness. Lord, help us to continue to reflect that light, that our light would not be just what we want, but there would be a reflection of your light and forgiveness into the rest of the community and our families around us. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.